This here is a 2012 Aspen Century pop-up camper motorcycle trailer, and getting ready to take a trip on it. And before you take a trip on these things, you need to do a few things. And one thing is pull them wheels off and check those wheel bearings, because it is no fun going down the road and all of a sudden one of these locks up and starts skidding behind you like crazy, fishtailing like that, and then you poop your pants and pull over to the side, and then you have to, you know, code browse situation, and you don't want that. So what we're going to do is make sure that we got plenty of grease in these wheel bearings as we work on this today. And by the way, just ignore the way it's folded up. We didn't take the time to do all that. We just got it up there where we could work on it. We're still putting stuff in it to make it work. So that's what our video today is. 2012 Aspen Century pop-up camper trailer. So as you can see, I'm following all safety protocols. I got my jack stands up in here. They're invisible type. Not. This thing don't weigh that much. And my old Harbor Freight jack, it's going to hold it perfect, right? Yeah, most people would put a jack stand in it, but I'm not going to be hanging out under here. I'm certainly not putting my face under here, right? I'm going to be working right here where the wheel bearings are, under this cover right here, which I have to take off. And I forgot to bring my dead blow hammer, so I wouldn't dent this all up putting it back on. But you know what? Out of sight, out of mind. You can't see it anyway. But yeah, we got to take this off. We're going to see what's going on there. Right now we're going to look for a little play. See if there is any. Doesn't feel like there is any. Doesn't go back and forth. I'll probably check it again with the wheel back on. I should have checked it before I took it off. That's usually what you do, because then you have the whole wheel and you can get a little leverage on it. But we're going to pop this cap off, see what kind of grease we got in there, if any. I don't think these have ever been off. Which is not a good sign. Or somebody was really meticulous when they did it. So this cotter key, or whatever you call these things, they're on here for safety, to keep this tight. Because if you notice, you don't crank this all the way down to make it tight. It'll make the bearings wear prematurely. You want to just get them snug. I think this one's actually a little looser than I would do. But anyway, we got to take that out first. Then we can take this off. We can take this whole assembly off and check the grease and the bearing condition, make sure it's okay. At this point is when you need some rubber gloves, because I don't like getting my hands dirty. So they weren't dry, which is good. But they definitely need some. So what you want to look for on these bearings is just any rough spots, places where it looked like they've been binding. These look like they're in pretty good shape, and they had some grease still left on it. And it's I'm suspect that they probably didn't use this trailer much. And there was still some grease in there, but it's always better to pack them before you go on a trip, especially if you don't know the trailer. We had no idea because she just bought this one. So what we're going to do is pack grease down in here, put a little extra in there, and put this back on. The inner bearings, they look pretty good too. They had grease on them, or in them too. So it's not in a terrible situation. They haven't been neglected too bad is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so I had to get this up here on top of the trailer where I could actually stand up, because my back don't like bending over a whole lot. So what we're going to do is pack these bearings, okay? They're not really that dirty. I don't want to take a cleaning agent and clean them off, because that can introduce solvents and stuff like that. So what we'll do is just wipe them off, get the excess old grease off, any grit that may be in there from you handling them. And what we're going to do is pack that grease between the seams down inside the bearing. I mean, you can put it out here all day long, but you need it down in there as well, because that's where the bearings rub the inside race on these. And what I'm using is what I had, Ford Lincoln Mercury fortified multi-purpose grease, suitable for bearings. You got to make sure the grease that you get says suitable for wheel bearings. Some of it's not, and it won't hold up under the high temps that are created, and it'll get hot and run out, and then you'll seize up your bearings. So make sure it says good for wheel bearings. So kind of the idea is to push it in the seam on either side. So you just put a little on there like that. And then you're going to try and push it in there. So you just try to work it in there like so. Do the same thing on the other seam. And also work it in the bearings. On the outside. Just try to push in as much as you can by going at an angle. Probably should have done the inside one first, but that's okay. We'll put more on this before I actually install it. So the inside one you can't really get out without pounding the seal out. And since that seal doesn't appear like it's been leaking at all, I'm not going to take that seal out. The seal goes around here. So we're not going to mess with that. We're just going to try to get some grease down in there to that one. So we'll just shove it down in there and spread it around. And there is a such thing as having too much in there. If you put too much in there, you'll get going down the road and it'll start coming out and you'll think you have a leak when really all you did was put too much in there. So more is not always better with this, but adequate is. You do want to have a little extra in there, but you don't want to pack it full so it's got nowhere to go but out. Might put a little bit more in there. Should be fine. And with that, we can put it back on the vehicle.
Look at me on the cover of a magazine.
Alright, so there you go. As far as checking all your wheel bearings when you go, before you go on a trip, make sure you pull those off and at least look in there. You don't have to pack them every time, but if they go dry and you're going 70 miles an hour and this thing locks up, it's going to be a code brown. You're going to crap your pants and slide over to the side of the road, okay? You don't want that. So an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. That's it. Thanks for watching Cars and Guitars DIY.